Alright guys, welcome back to another Borderlands video, and in this one, we're going to be going over a great build for Moze, the gunner class, the battle-hardened former Vladov army soldier, one of the most interesting characters that has the Iron Bear, which is definitely an interesting skill to use, and she's got a lot of interesting stuff right here, 2 different slots for action skills and stuff like that. So overall, yeah, a very interesting skill tree, and honestly has some really good perks to it. So we're going to be going over an OP build, a good solid build overall, with the focus being, you know, like fighting bosses and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. Hit that like button down below if you find this helpful. Helps me out a lot. And yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, let's just start off with this tree right here. This is the main tree we're going to be focusing on. The Shield of Retribution has a lot of stuff to do with shield, which is obviously quite helpful. And it's got a lot of other solid stuff too. So first of all, I would avoid this one right here because she loses a small portion of her health and grants additional incendiary damage. I don't really find that useful, especially when you're losing a little bit of health. And also if you're fighting an enemy that's, you know, resistant to incendiary, that's not going to be that helpful. But you can go ahead and get this right here. Gains a bubble shield for Iron Bear. That's obviously good because you take reduced damage. And then this one over here, when Moze's shields are active, you gain damage reduction and increased gun damage. So if you purchase all of those, you can see that you get 15% gun damage and a reduction of 13% from damage taken, which is honestly very, very good. After that, go for this one right here. Max it out to 3. Buffs your shield a bit, which is definitely helpful. Shield is always more important than health anyways. And then this right here, you want to get all of these as well because it increases your max shield by 30%, which is very helpful for keeping yourself alive. And then you can also, oh, we forgot to equip this right there. Obviously, you're going to want that. You can also maybe do this one right here, but the railgun should be pretty solid. And then you can choose any of these once you unlock them. They all do like different elemental type damage. So, you know, equip one of those, whatever you prefer. After that, then you want to get these 2 things. They're both single skills. Entering Iron Bear gets your shield to immediately recharge. And whenever you deal a critical hit, you also deal bonus incendiary damage, which is quite helpful. And then you also want to get all of these 3. It's just an overall buff to reduce shield recharge delay. That's kind of tough to say. And also increases your shield recharge rate. So again, buffing shields is always a great thing. You also want to get this over here, which can buff your damage up to 50% depending on how low your health is. And it's also quite helpful to have less health overall, like for this one right here, because then you can get to that damage a little bit quicker, but you also have to balance it. Then you want to go ahead and get 3 of these right here. This skill is all right, but as you can see, if we just go to 3, you know, it's fine. We gain a stack of Phalanx Doctrine. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that, but for every stack, your maximum shield and gun damage is increased, which is great overall. And then you also want to get this one right here, which is fairly good. Whenever you eliminate an enemy with a critical, your shield immediately starts recharging, which is super helpful since you should be aiming for criticals anyways. And then finally, you can get this one down here, which is very good. When your shield gets depleted, you immediately restore a portion of it, 40% of it, and get increased gun damage by 30% for a short amount of time, which is super, super good. Especially since I'm pretty sure that skill, how it works, is you get to use it again as soon as your shield is fully charged up again. So yeah, that is a great one to have. But then moving over here to this tree, this is the tree we're going to get a little bit to, and then we're going to invest a little bit of our skill points into this tree to the demolition woman. But let's start off with this one right here, since it's like the one we're going to be putting the second most amount of points into. And also, I would recommend using the minigun. I mean, you can choose one of the others, but I mean, they're fairly close together. Choose one that works well for you, but the minigun is solid at dealing some damage. So yeah, but you can also get this right here, a man turret to the back of Iron Bear. Might as well get that because you then want to put 4 into this one. Occasionally, Moze's and Iron Bear shots will deal additional incendiary damage and won't consume ammo. That's just a solid one to have. Nothing crazy, but again, it's pretty solid. And then this one is for when you're moving, you get increased handling, weapon swap, and mode switch speed. Almost 50% for weapon swap and mode switch, and 37.5% for handling is a very solid one overall, especially if you're a player like me that likes to move around a lot. Definitely quite helpful. And then you also want to get this one right here, another single skill. Moze can sprint and shoot at the same time. You might not always use that one, but you know, might as well grab it. Then finally, you want to get these 5 right here, which simply increase your fire rate and critical hit damage just flat across the board, which of course is a solid thing to have. And then finally, for this tree over here, we're only going to be going for these 2, this one and this one over here. You want to max out this first one, which basically makes it so Iron Bear's weapons drain less fuel, which obviously is helpful. And then if you increase this one, that's all the points we have because it helps to reduce your action skill cooldown time, which isn't like crazy good, but hey, you might as well get some of that. You can also do this one if you're going for incendiary damage, but again, since a bunch of enemies are immune to incendiary anyways, you know, I don't always like to go for that stuff, but hey, it could be helpful against certain bosses. And I mean, this other stuff is fairly good as well. This doesn't really stick out to me that much. Like this right here, whenever you deal gun damage, there's a chance of a secondary explosion centered on the target. That's fairly good, but it's only 75% of your main gun damage. So I might do another build around that, but for this one, you know, having shield is definitely solid all around for, you know, staying in the game, keeping your character up, which, you know, in the long run will help you deal more damage. And especially with this skill down here, I think it's quite helpful. So yeah, guys, that is going to be my build for Moze. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, what you guys have been using, what your favorite character is. And on top of that, hit that subscribe button down below, as well as check out some of my previous videos here on the screen, some of my other builds for some of the other characters and stuff like that. But again, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.